All right. Now, I decided to go live with this for a Class of Rel segment because I wanted to speak from the heart. Now, it's a little different because no one's really seen my hair like this, at least on, this channel. I got an Elvis shirt about him being arrested on me, and I'm just kind of doing my thing. And I have one of those suckish days. I honestly, as soon as it hit 11 o'clock in the morning, I said to myself, you know what? Could somebody, I don't care if it's mentally, physically, chemically, whatever, just knock me the hell out. Just knock me the hell out and let me go to bed. And this is 11 o'clock in the morning. Sure enough, it's 9:24 now. A lot of stuff has happened since then. Been listening to music, posted a chapter for a girl I know in England. It's been doing a lot. Let's see. Irish, random. How we doing, guys? Then we got two others more in there. You get the comments, say hi, whatever you want to do. Just chillax. I am here. And the reason why I wanted to make this segment is because, well, I don't have too much tea in this thing. Well, let's just put it to you this way. I had insulation and ceiling tiles chip away and fall all over on top of me, and I haven't hopped in the shower yet. I'm going to take another one, that is, and, it just got a little ugly, freaking just stuff happened, and, and I stay a little bit after too, but, got paid for it, move on, tomorrow's Friday, pick myself up, But like I said, for this segment, I wish I actually had this about here instead of here, but I gotta deal with what I got, Chief. But the main reason I wanted to make this segment was because of, there's a lot of guys I know that have lived in the moment. And now it is true that tomorrow there is no guarantees. But at the same time, you could plot ahead and you could figure out that you have a tomorrow and a next week and so on and so forth. Which I think is why people don't have retirement, because I mean, I have a retirement plan and I'm only 24, but like I said, anything can happen, literally anything. Matthias, good evening. But one of the things I've actually had on my mind for quite a while is one of my guys I used to skate with. His name was Lorenzo. And what happened with Lorenzo is, well, this actually seemed like a guy being jumped and having his weed stolen. But a good friend of mine I've known for a long time knew the guy personally who did get his ass kicked, and he actually had a seizure and he died that night. So it was actually what I think could have been a murder was a manslaughter charge. And he just got sentenced recently for whatchamacallit. He just got sentenced to 10 years, which I thought I was never going to have a chance to see him again. I thought it was going to be more like 50. Thought he was going to be there for basically the rest of his life. But it comes down to other things. For example, guys, I know that there's some people that have money and some people that don't. Now, mind you, I am nowhere near rich. For everyone that knows that I'm doing this writing and such, it's not like YouTube where this gets monetized or anything else. I'm not being monetized by YouTube at all, but it's not like Wattpad pays my bills. It's not like there's a commission off that. It's just simply what happens and what I do. That's just it. I hope this becomes a big time. But there's no guarantees. And being broke, I remember when, let's see, I remember being in college. My car got fixed a couple times. I tried to get back into playing a sport. My hours were cut in half. And I remember the same day going to my girlfriend and said, "Look, I can't buy dinner tonight." And I looked at my mother and said, I'm not sure if I could pay my car insurance. And when you have two people that you love just stare at you saying, "What the hell are you doing?" and the fact that you're just broke, it's a feeling that I never want to have again. And that was one of those times where one of my friends said, "You know what? I think you could do me a favor and make the odd grass money on the side." Sure enough, I declined. Many times, actually. There was a few things that There's a couple things that I have made decisions of and quit, and I do not regret whatsoever. First off, I quit drinking. Now, I've never been drunk. I've never been a complete fucking asshole. I've never harassed women or anything like that. But for family issues, personal issues, and what I believe in, I said to myself, you know what? Just to know what I stand for, I quit. And second, I quit cars. Simply because I was either going to have a felony charge, go broke, or I was going to kill myself. One of those was going to happen. Don't regret any of them. Don't regret not selling drugs, side stuff like that. And it's really funny when you get into things like I guess you could say the dope game. Call it as you want. Some people call it the florist game or something else. But I got news for you. Now, I'm not going to be here to pester you like some sort of, health teacher or some guy who's trying to make an ad or run some sort of campaign. I'm just going to put it to you like this. There's a guy I know who it started from the weed and then went to the pills, and sure enough, not too long ago, I'm not sure if it was the pill. I think it was I forgot what the pill was. I think it was Percocets, and I think he choked on his own vomit and he died in his sleep or something. I don't know, but all I know is I think he was only like 21 or 22 years old. I just remember him dying, and he wasn't a bad guy. I mean, he made some stupid decisions, but at the end of the day, he was a good guy. And he got into this whole ordeal. And the one thing is that you see, now I was a skateboarder. That was my rebellion, I guess you could say. I've never been a shithead teenager, but I kind of did my own thing when I was 15, 16, 17. Even now, I still do my own thing. But there's a certain way to go about it. For instance, just remember this. If you ever go to a drug dealer, you have no idea what he has, especially if you're new into a city or so. You never know what that guy will have or what his buddy will have. Because there's been instances where I've seen, it's like, hey man, I'm just here buying weed. Okay, so you're just gonna get a ticket. And then they look at the other guy and they're like, okay, this guy's got cocaine. Okay, cuff him all, bring him in, we're going to get him questioned. Simple as that. I've got too many stories where they've involved heavy drugs, just being stupid. But I mean, there's certain things that I don't regret at all. Like one of them was my boy Chris before he was driving, before he got his license. He was picking up bongs. He literally called me out of the blue one Friday night and he goes, look, dude, I gotta pick up a couple of bongs at my boy's house. If you drive me there and back, I will give you $40. Now, mind you, I really need the money at the time. It wasn't working. So 40 bucks for me, but a couple factors there. Number one, paraphernalia. Two, I wasn't that close with him. And three, I was with my girlfriend. How would you like to tell your girlfriend, hey, baby, I need to know. She wouldn't come with, so I'd literally have to leave. I love you and everything, but I gotta take off, but I'll be right back though. So, catch you in about an hour, hour and a half ish. No. That is one decision I do not regret at all. 40 bucks or having your girlfriend lash at you while you do something stupid. If you guys got any questions as far as anything else, just anything, by all means, go for it. This is kind of just me rambling here. But yeah, why would I regret certain things like that? Let's just put it to you this way, guys. One thing that I'm actually doing, especially since winter's coming up, I'm working a little bit of extra hours, doing some side work and everything else because I want to get into invest in everything else. Simply because I know where this goes. Now, this could also be to, Christmas shopping and everything else. But just remember this. These are guidelines to at least what helped me. Know the right people. Know the good sources. Know what's right and wrong. And not just gut instinct, but if you just feel that something could go well or something could go wrong, you can't just know. Think logically. It's actually funny because sometimes you can do a little bit of both, especially being a skateboarder. One thing I gotta do is I gotta go back to the city hall and I gotta get this trick on film. That's what I'm excited about. I mean, of course, there's a couple of regrets in what some involve injuries, but that's really about it for me. And just remember something. Sugar could turn into shit, and vice versa. Alright, if anyone's around, I'll take some questions. It could be for anything on the table goes. And Josh just sent me a picture of Origami Tobichi and cheerleader outfit, which is kind of odd. Hella odd. Matthias, anything for me, man? Oh, speaking of which, if anyone's watching, I was actually at a church. Not sure if how many people I've told this yet, but I actually found this manga at a church, and I had no idea what the heck it was because it was so quick. I got it. I filled up a whole box, got it for $1. Now this is Phoenix Resurrection Volume 5. I actually looked up on eBay. It's messed up in the corner right there. But the manga actually goes for like $90. Hell. Honestly, Irish, I'm gonna see first. I mean, I didn't play Red Dead 1. My friend played it and I saw him play it. Same with Fallout, just two games I never really got into. I respect him ever since every which way. 76, I'm gonna have to do some really nice digging on it, see some share plays from Tina, that type of thing. I'm really on the fence with it. Gaming as a whole, I mean, let's see. Nora was the last thing I got simply because it's actually been helping me with some writing. But I mean, if you look at the list here, I mean, I even got some more over there. There's some games I haven't even got to, and some I haven't even played. I want to beat the Tales of Berseria. I want to, since I got the space now, do Persona, that type of thing. Ah, gotcha. I've seen Fallout, but seen Fallout plenty of times. Just not sure if I could personally get into. I was never the person for the apocalypse setting. Movies, gaming, anything. Although the same thing kind of goes with apocalypse anime and movies. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be like I kind of hate to say it, but Trinity Seven. It's like every episode the world could possibly end, and you have this guy who's a complete pig with all these girls around him. It's just something else. Let's see. Last Call of Duty game I got was this, and the one before that. Excuse me. Let's see. Geez, can I even find it? Oh boy. Here we go, right in front of me. Yes, I converted, but this was the last Call of Duty game I got before buying World War II. First day it came out. Campaign was good, although I've discussed this with many people. You know, I'm going to seriously look into that soon. I really will. I'll probably do some YouTube help or anything else like that. But the one thing is that I've asked my father about and many other people, and they said this goes to the first part of the campaign in Modern Warfare 3. If there is any war in Manhattan, it's basically the end of the world. Which really is true. Which it could happen one day, but well, for anyone out there who could be listening, could you please do it well after I'm dead? That'd be great. Same thing with my children. After I'm dead and they're dead, that'd be great. Give it about 500 years. Sounds good. Please, just one favor. Yeah, please do. Yeah. Don't worry, guys. I'll be looking into that one for you. Anything else you got for me while I'm here? Only got a couple more minutes before I doze off and such. I'm just gonna shower off again. Say, let's see. To be honest with you guys, I usually don't rock the beard, except that sometimes when you it grows really slow. That time, last time you saw me, I think I had it for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then sometimes it's like, 9 o'clock at night, you don't feel like shaving. You just want to shower off, go to bed. And it was really cold those weeks, and it really warms the face. It was really starting to get crazy. Thank God I put the kibosh on it. But really, man, nothing special right now. I mean, usually my hair's never down. I'm just kind of doing me. Not dressing to impress or nothing, just kicking back. Well, I've actually been. You're actually gonna love what Sassy Bird is going to come out to. Really, guys, as far as the beard goes, I kind of like a shadow and nothing more. Not too much baby face because of the burn it leaves. I kind of go for the shadow look personally, and it's starting to become it's acceptable, like going out in public and such. And also, I'm very happy that I don't have a strict work environment. Like in my department, anything goes. It's like you could dye your hair, you could have facial hair, you could shave if you want, you could be scruffy. Pretty much as long as it's not a safety hazard, you're fine. There's a guy I work with who hasn't cut his hair in 3 years and it's down to about here. His daughter, who has autism, he thought that he had this, she had this cancer scare, and he was actually, he had a shaved head. And he goes, he thought he was going to be donating his hair, so he kept growing it. And then it got to the point where they actually ruled out cancer, and he still cut it. He wears a man bun occasionally, but usually it's back covered by a hat, or he puts some curling oil in there. He told me, but he's a sick dude. Looks like a hippie a little bit, but really cool dude. Bless Tom and his daughter. Cheers. Really, Matthias? Is that? I mean, I know you're in the food industry, but I'm just wondering what happens there. Because I know every place is different. Like before I got my gig in maintenance, I was actually applying at a car dealership, and they're like policy slacks, which mean dress shoes. They supply the uniforms, everything else. College, college code. Uh, I can't say for Canada on that one, Matthias, because honestly, unless you go to like a prep college or anything else, here it's fair game. What are you gonna do? You have like it's like you come here, take those earrings out. Come on, I that's actually very unheard of here in America. Very unheard of. Hmm. Interesting. Very interesting. That actually just sounds like the high school. Like I actually went to the high school I went to. Um, Now, mind you, I was the first. I was the first in 2008. I was the first graduating class to go all 4 years in the new building. Which junior year is when they started doing uniforms, and 2 years after that, it's like because of the unfortunate shootings that have happened, and it really started with Sandy Hook, which is 20 to 25 minutes away from my house. It is an ugly thing. There is no conspiracy. There's no bullshit. That actually happened. So erase that out of your mind. And please, if anyone has any bullshit to say under that, I will block you. I honest to God will. Anyways, moving on from that, it was really just you got a polo shirt that comes in three different colors. You wear your name ID, and you could do any pants you want. But the pant it started to get stupid because the principal will pull people aside and you'll have some ghetto guy being like, "Hey yo, I forgot to do my laundry, bi." And she'd be like, "Okay, yeah, bullshit." But the fact that you're sending some people into in-school suspension and calling people home, giving them detention because of a freaking uniform, they got to a waste of time, so they made it lenient. But then you obviously had these girls that are wearing see-through, yoga pants and everything else, and that didn't make it any better. I gotta be honest with you, guys. Riddle me this: if you see a girl down the street and she's got yoga pants that are see-through, because you'll never see her again, you probably don't mind. But let's say you got a mother, you got a sister, a girlfriend. Doesn't matter what temperature it is outside. You really want them walking down the street next to you in see-through pants? You see right through the design. You know what she's wearing underneath? And sometimes you could see the bare cheek. Nada. Not on my ship. The SS Rail will throw you overboard, son. Bang. That's how I roll. Be a man, not pimp. That was a quote from Robert De Niro, which I think he's the only exception for being a retired pimp. Ah, Gaza, man of culture. See? Ungats. Not happening. It's just a thing. It's like I've told my girlfriend that before. I'm like, hey, Ash, I can see your ass. So you're staring at my butt. It's see-through. Which I have no idea about this because there's like these feminist trends where it's like, not wearing bras and everything else. It's just kind of like, do me a favor. It's because sometimes Ash will not wear a bra when she goes out and such, and I'm just kind of like, look. Because there's some people I know that just judge. Ash, if I'm bringing you to dinner with my family, do me a favor. Make sure those things don't have see-through. Please wear a bra. Because I don't want any, yeah. Fill in the blank. You can read my thoughts on that one. Matthias, you see? These guys get it. These guys get it. It's just part of the deal. You get what you pay for. And again, I am running on empty. Jesus, this is going to be down now. Nothing says I need tea like ranting. Not on my ship, goddammit. The SS Rail does not take that. The SS Rail. I'm kind of just thinking on the fly here. I have no idea why this sounds hilarious. But really, you gotta be nice about it. But this just comes how I show you. You do gotta be a gentleman there. And I do not regret telling my girlfriend those sorts of things. It's like, hey, be honest, but you gotta be gentle. Always, always, always be gentle. An actual ship in a star. The SS Rail in the story. How do I do it? You got the wheels turning now. I'm actually very intrigued. I could have the REL stand for something. Let's see. Let me just answer this message quick. Come on, work for me, screen. Be well, send. I'm talking to this girl, Shay. Person I've known, she's from Missouri a long time. After being told she wasn't going to get pregnant, she had twins. And she is an amazing mother. And her second twin just came home as of recent after spending about 2 months being in care at the hospital. Hey Ashley, how we doing? And yes, there are some relationship tips. Now, one thing is I can't stress enough, and this is usually a guy thing I bring up, but I just want to say that this is also a lady. This is also on ladies too. First date. Why would, especially as you get older, you see, when you're 14 years old, you usually go in groups. As in, hey, my boy is. It's like, let's say I'm on the top level of the theater. My boy is 2 rows down. Or my girlfriend is, you know, is in the same row, but a little off to the right, something. But as you get older and older and you get my age, you tend to start going alone. Especially if you and your friends are on different schedules and because college, let's say work retail, right? There's one that might be, drowning in homework and lecture and everything else, studying for a test. And it's just kind of like, you know what? I mean, this guy, screw it, I'll go to a movie. Now, pause. First date. You're going to a movie. Now, it's different if you go dinner than a movie. Because dinner, you actually get to talk to somebody, interact a little bit. Now, it's got nothing to do with communication per se. But here's the thing. Let's say that movie's 2 hours long. Or let's go hour and a half. Okay? What happens if the guy makes his move? Now, this is when I think a lady, even though it is... Yeah, wingman. Let me tell you something. I've third wheeled more than anyone. I've third wheeled more than anyone should have in their whole lifetime. I cannot stress enough about that. I've never had hookups or anything like that. I'm literally been a hopeless romantic for the majority of my life. That's out. Bang, kibosh. But really, as you get older, especially when you get to my age, especially around 20s, let's say you feel something here, around the breast area. Guess what? Number one, guys, if you do that, you're scum. You're scum. That's it. Because if you really want to hook up or such, be straightforward about it. Because if you haven't noticed about what's going on, pick up a newspaper, go to Google, CNN, any news site. It's no doubt that this sexual harassment thing going on, obviously it's real, but it's actually getting worse than we thought, and it pains me because there's a guy I know who he's got a lot of, let's just say he's got clean sources and he's got some dark sources. I hate saying this myself because it makes people like me look bad, but I literally just found out skateboarding could potentially have an underground pedophilia thing going on. And this sickens me. Now, if the guy's just turned pro and he's 18 and it's a 16-year-old girl, I mean, certain states, if, consent, there's all this stuff, it's a gray area. But let's say if a guy's 30 and he meets this 16-year-old girl at a demo. Wrong. He should know better. Consent is just a thing that you just got to pay attention to. Everything could be great, your hands could be all over each other, but as soon as she says stop, guess what? If you don't, you're done. Simple. Girlfriend, wife. Girl you met online. Girl you've known for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 years. As soon as she says no, bang, off. That's it. Now, gaming's something different simply because if you look at the PS4 message boards, I've actually gotten two DMs saying like, oh, hey, I'm a cam girl, go to my site, everything else. Now, the problem is that one of my apprentices got this, and he is underage. He is 17. Now, if you actually trace that IP address, guess what? That is considered pedophilia, which I have no idea if that guy's, 18, 19, or this person could be 35. Technically, that's pedophilia, which I'm not about that. Which, let's just put it to you this way. I've had my fair share of this garbola. But just remember, men, and ladies too, movies is not a good first date. Because I think for any woman, the amount of trust you have to meet somebody for a first time and go to a movie and hope and sweat, and you're probably not even enjoying the movie because you have to keep looking over to your side to make sure that he's not touching you in a bad way. Because now it could be like, hand over the shoulder, around the neck, lean up on the shoulder. It could be hand on the thigh. You have no idea if he's on your thigh, if he's going to go up in your crotch, or if it's on your shoulder, or if it'll go down to the breast. None of that. You literally are in a prone spot for trouble for an hour and a half to 3 hours, depending on how long that movie is. Heck, if I'm a female and I'm doing that, I'm probably sweating bullets until I get the heck out of there. You know, personally, you can't really say what first date would be perfect. I mean, really, grabbing a coffee or sitting down for lunch or anything. I mean, I can't really say because, my girlfriend, let's see, 6.5 years. This is going to be our 7th set of holidays. Let's see. Back then, our first blind date, we went shopping for a bit, but we really just sat down and we just kind of just talked face to face. I mean, we talked on the phone a couple of times, but meeting her, I got to know some things, which was nice. She didn't bring anybody, I didn't bring anybody. It was just a straight up thing. But I mean, movie is second date. Ashley, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Some men are more patient than others. Oh, and let me tell you something. I know guys that would wait months and months and months just so they could get laid, and then they would be the hell out of there if they liked it or not. I'd say the worst place you could have a first date, though, a bar. And if you're a lady, let's just put it to you this way. Now, another reason why I don't drink. One of the many reasons I don't drink. But let's just put it to you this way. You go out to a bar. Your drink costs $10. You drink half of it and you have to use the ladies' room for God knows whatever reason. You have no idea who's watching your drink, bartender, guy next to you, whatever. I think the only safest way to the only thing to do when you get back, toss that drink and get another one. You have to limit it, Gaza. You really do. Because let me tell you something. It doesn't really... Because you have no idea what person you're getting. There's some guy I know that got into some big trouble with that. That's the thing, Matthias. Because here's the thing, right? The thing is that goes in America. Now, the thing is about being American. There's a lot of people like Australians, a lot of British and Canadians too. They all think that every single American is one and only the same, give or take, which there isn't, and there's actually a lot of different state laws. Nevada, you could legally have brothels. Utah, they allow polygamy. Texas, they don't allow gambling. There's a lot of shit that goes on. A lot of shit that goes on that's different. But the one thing that remains the same is this. If someone's sober and they say no, and if they wake up after that drunken stupor and they say no, you as a guy are fucked real hard. Fucked way hard. And you can have any attorney you want. And let me tell you something. I studied law in college. You have a woman under the influence of alcohol. She wakes up, finds out what she's doing, and says, I did not like that. You are so screwed. You got a piece of wood that's about this big, and you got 10 nails in them. Wow. Kiss your life and future career goodbye, my friend. Hit the bricks, because you're not only a scumbag, but you're going to jail. And let me tell you something. From what I've heard, because someone I know is a prison guard, Whoo! They do not like people that don't respect women. They hate it. They'll make you shine their shoes. And then some. But I kind of found it this. I'm the hopeless romantic type, so I mean, I was never into this. And if you think about it, let's see, 24 now, haven't been single since I was 17. If you think about it, Snapchat and Tinder weren't even, you know, they weren't even, I don't even think they were thought of then. Imagine that. It's a different world now. It's a way different world. Easy way to get porked is if you try and find a fake girlfriend. Not only that, but you're gonna have to lie so much, you're eventually gonna be able to believe your own bullshit. It ain't that embarrassing. Just think about it. You're gonna be like, oh, where were you Saturday? Oh, I was with my boys. Your mother said you were home. I snuck out that night. Yeah, sure. You're gonna be covering up lie after lie after lie after lie, and it becomes this big bullshit sandwich, and eventually she's gonna get pissed at you. You're gonna have to do some convincing, and the fact that you're saying, okay, I didn't get what I want, later, bye-bye, you just wasted her time and yours. And then the whole thing starts all over again, and eventually, especially with social media nowadays, you're gonna get the reputation of being an absolute scumbag. Gonna get parked, gonna get parked. Yes, I've actually had some social media instances that I will not get into, but definitely misunderstandings per se. But it's happened to everyone, everyone you can imagine. And you gotta be careful more nowadays than back 8 years ago, simply because we're at this point in time where we're playing the blaming game. Like, there's this thing where it could be certain slurs, it could be anything. The one thing that actually sucks is that everyone, no matter what you say, is going to put perspective on it. Like, even people that have passed away, there actually has been some people that have said, you know what, this guy was a good person. And then there's going to be that one person that's going to be like, he was a drunken pothead, fuck him. At the wake, funeral, whatever. Not a great feeling. Think about that. At your funeral, you want something, peaceful. You want everyone to get along. You want people to smile and remember good times, not cry their eyes out. Then you have one guy that's pissing and moaning and pissing on your day of rest. There's always going to be that guy. Why? Because social media is the birthplace of assholes. I need a plug. Oh, fun fact. I actually go to Walmart. I actually got this plug. It's actually a blue. Comes in like this nice design. So if you have a problem with people stealing chargers, yours is the blue wire. It works, especially at work. Alright guys, so well Naz, you missed a pretty good one, especially in the relationship advice category. But let's see, it's a little past 10 o'clock. Tell you what, I'll give you guys about 5 minutes to ask some questions not far away, and I'm going to get off for the night. So what you guys got for me? I'm going to answer Joshy over my Facebook. I'm going to PC for that one. Well, laptop rather. Really, Joshua? A man of culture but concerning. Well, Naz, I'll actually let you in Joshy's been sending me pictures of origami from Date Alive. The book that I'm going to be doing next is I've actually took the last 2 or 3 days to recoup, gather my thoughts. I do got some preparation for August 11th. Am I a healthier boy now? There was a couple times where I think like earlier in the month I kind of like had like these sinuses, and there's this one time last month where I was about to go to work Thursday, and I actually haven't used a sick day in like 3.5 years at that point. And I'm just like, you know what? Today I'm using a sick day. So I went right back to bed. And it's weird because it was 7:30. I woke up at 10:30 because I had a nightmare. Then went back to bed, and then it was noon. And I'm like, wait a minute, why do I feel like shit? And I realized how sick I was. That was actually pretty crazy. But I mean, I work sick, I work hurt, and I mean, if I actually, stay home, that's more time for writing. I'll never stop writing. That's just how it is. Let's see. I am going to be doing Koniko, and I'm going to not rest until that's finished. I got about 2 or 3 chapters left. Depending on how this is going to go. There's some things that are just missing. Then there's some I just want to go a little bit into depth about. But I'm thinking that there's going to be a final battle. There is going to be a good final fight and a good epilogue chapter. But then it's going to be trying to see how much I could get done with Reen. Eventually I'm eventually going to try and have a solid rotation again. Honestly, Naz, this is just a regular thing for me by now. There's no really pulsation on the brain. I mean, I know how to separate, but sometimes it's just, like for Koniko and for Reen, it's really just been like these ideas that I've got in my head, and I've just kind of been like bang, 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 bang. It like just came to me. Like there's some chapters and some stories that just come easier. And Reen's story, aka Double Ramen, has actually gone a lot better than I thought, simply because really when I do a new story that comes from another franchise, I mean, the Tanahashi one was different. I mean, I think it doesn't have a lot of views and it's looked at differently simply because of a transgender character, even though he's considered a guy. It's a guy. Really just a guy. For his mind, a guy since birth. Simple. Just lives differently. That's all it is. I actually think that the story came out great, and I think it's one of my personal favorites. But there will be an Arnashi story. One with a guy, and, she's one of my favorite anime girls. Top 3, Muse from Magi Brilliant Park, Yukino from Fairy Tail, Tanahashi Infinite Stratos. Add Tomoe from Absolute Duo. And give me Sia from Shuffle. And yes, there's no DXD girl on there. Although if you had to insert them in like a top 10, tie for Mizray and Kurimu. And I'd probably say give Zenobia or Akano in there, flip a coin depending on my mood. There will be Inner Mocha will get updated monthly. I did promise that at least. Let's see. Absolute Duo Girls top 3. Tomoe. That's my favorite personally. Miyabi. Yulia is kind of shy. You could make the argument for Yulia and Lilith being three. I know it's kind of a cop out. Naz, the Melanie book, I actually continued that during the Ruby season, like when the season of Ruby's going on. It's kind of a seasonal book. Simply because the stories that I got going on, the animes and the stories have already been completed. DXD, well, I hope DXD's finished personally. That's another political type thing that I really just hope. Oh yeah, I know it stops, but still. But since Ruby's gonna be going for about 20 volumes, I kind of decided to take the decision and now, there are two things I could do. I could either find an alternative ending, but this one I've actually been going along with the story. Now, the last I've actually went with Melanie, aka Kicking It, is they actually arrived about right off the boat where Yang got on her motorcycle and started looking for her mother, Raven rather, and they obviously got on land, and then Torchwick came back, which I honestly think was due, along with Neo. I thought those two in Junior, I think, was just called for. Now, I could actually twist those three into the plot somehow, as in Torchwick and Junior are actually in this, because they're all into crime. I could actually see those two working together, and since Neo's the henchman of Torchwick, I could tie them into the main story or make them a side thing. As in, they realize they're like, hey, what the hell's going on? And then next thing you know, the OC, which I mean, the OC is really his name is Odin Delrek, which he is one of my favorite characters I have created, one of my favorite OCs to date. And from there, what really happens is he could really just go in, and after the whole thing's said and done, he's like, wait a minute, Torchwick was wrong. There's more to it. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? They're like, there's someone bigger than Torchwick. There's someone bigger than Cinder. And then they realize that's where Salem comes in, and then the people that are underneath Salem. There's a way I could look around this. That's actually a very good question, Naz. Now, what happens is you kind of go like this. I'm gonna be moving around here, like to stand when I think. And I got a lamp here. All right. Pretend that you're talking to this person, and you want to know how they react. Like, you just gotta know the little gritty things. You gotta pay attention to detail. For example, Blake's not really shy. She's just quiet, and I guess you could say she's afraid. You kind of want to look at these personalities, and you want to try and just match their reaction. And if you watch enough of it, you could capture their reactions or something similar to how they act. For example, Weiss is sassy. Ruby is cute. Ying is easygoing, and if you piss her off, she's a flamethrower. Blake is strong, but she's afraid, and she wants backup and support. If you act now, the thing that was actually nice about the twins, the Malachite sisters, there's a lot of leeway because of their lack of character development, but it's actually what I gave them. Now, I actually made it to a way where, let's just be honest, you find a girl, like especially Melanie, you find this, this bombshell with long hair and this white dress and these big heels, and you might think that she's, well, live in Connecticut or New York, they're bougie. They're, privileged. They want to show you that, how they have money, and they're like, excuse me, honey, why are you good enough for me? But these girls are just like, look, I just work here. I'm out of work. What the hell do I do now? And, well, Ozpin Jr. in the story just goes, you know what? Let's see if I could enroll you in school. Well, that's just kind of like how guys go. It's like, they have a career and everything falls apart. It's like, what, can I go back to school? Well, the girls are going back to school, except, well, they didn't get enrolled yet. They kind of just like, hey, let's attempt to go to school and kick the shit out of Grimm. Which they did, but unfortunately they didn't get to enroll. And now it just gets to the part where they find conflict in the place they're staying at, and they're eventually going to... But I'm glad Torchwick is back. At least in my story. Anything else, Naz? You actually got a lot of good questions. I'm actually willing to hear more. Same thing else with everybody else. Well, I mean, DxD, it's kind of funny because, I mean, I've actually looked at a lot of anime and a lot of manga where sometimes it gets too big where they either lose the original feeling, or sometimes they get just too carried away with it and they fall off the regular direction. For example, this seemed like at first it just seemed something different, like a culture shock and an exchange. But then as soon as you go into different areas like going to Mia's, land and going to, the farm arc. If you look at the manga, it just looks like a lot of cheap hentai. But that's just the thing, is like you have to imagine these things. One thing I actually did was when the Yu-Gi-Oh movie came out recently, I think it was a year or two ago. I think like 2 or 3 years, something. The voice of Yugi Moto, he actually did an interview and he goes, I haven't played Yugi in years. And he goes, well, the thing is, you have to look at the film and you have to look at his personality and you have a relationship with the character. And some people are like, how the hell do you have a relationship with a character? It's like you got to know how that person does. It's like, you got to look at the cards that are in his hand and what's on his plate and how he goes about everything. Like, let's take Irina, for example. Irina's boyfriend slash fiance slash husband. Now, when you think of edgelord, you think of to a point. There's sometimes where you have to separate, but there's some things where it depends on what the character you want to be, really. But when I create an edgelord, there's either two ways to go about it. As in, sometimes he thinks about the past and just lashes out, or sometimes you could just make him a hormonal piece of shit edgy teenager. There's a couple ways of going about it, but there's a right way and a wrong way. There's certain ways I do not recommend, per se. Anything else? Guys, anything? Oh yeah, and one thing I do recommend, Nas. Yes, Nico Pyre did get an update not too long ago. I think I've discussed this before, but you guys are gonna probably find this funny, but even though I've done it a few times, and by a few times I could actually count them on both hands. Actually, one hand. Let's see. I did it in two from the board. Did it in... Well, outside of Issei, I haven't really done harem. And, just remember this. If you're going to make a harem story, make it interesting. There's more than just romantic comedy out there. Because there's been a lot of them out there. To Love Ru, Rosario, DxD, you name it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of... you could mock it by doing the cliches, But you also gotta be something different, as in like, hi, I'm the girl with and I love the boy with dark hair. Hey, I'm the slutty girl, and I thought he was a loser at first, but now I like him and I don't want to throw myself at him. It's like, hey, I'm girl number 3, I want to mail him my panties. Number 4, I want to drain his balls. No, literally, it's like I think that you gotta have build up, as in like it's like it's kind of like why I did a Sona story and why some people loved it. Because, some people envision Sona as in like it's like in chapter 3, it's like, hello, Issei, make love to me. Panty drop. Bad. Develop. 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 Let's just put it to you this way. If you think of a strong, independent woman and you think of Sona Citri, you are out of your mind. You think a strong and independent woman is going to throw her panties down on the floor and bring them to bed by chapter 3? You are heavily drinking or you are on some sort of narcotic, because what the hell are you thinking? See? Bad character development. Sona actually was nice. There was a lot going to it, but the reason why Sona ended the way it did was I didn't want to be one of those stories where it has too much filler and it ends up just going to something else. And I didn't want too much filler involved. I learned that very early on in stories like Kuramo, and even though I think Mizure is a top 3 story of mine, it did have some filler in the end. Honestly, Naz, before, like, let's just take Rias, for example, my most popular story by far. There was no plan for it. I just kind of wrote whatever was on top of my head, and it just kind of came out. Now, the thing is that I got from there is, well, some of those chapters actually did take about 2 or 3 days to write, because there's some times where I'd make a Rias chapter, like sometimes it would be once every 3 weeks, once every like month and a half. But I've actually got myself, there was a time where I was doing 1,500 words because that just seemed to be average for a chapter. But now, because I have so many stories and I go short story format and everything else, and to prevent filler, I'm actually between 1,000 to 1,500 words, just in general with intro and outro, simply because I've learned that that's been the most productive. As in, if I had to, because if I was stuck at 1,500 words, there'd be some times where I'd be at work, I'd be literally stressing and straining myself over like 200 words just to add around this, and it just didn't work that way. But I've noticed to myself that if I'm around 1,000 words, which by the way, if you're around 1,000 words, just look at what that does for like essay paper. That's a couple of pages right there. If you go 1,000 words, now it could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less. Some people go, 3,500, depending on how long the chapters are. But I've noticed that there's been some Saturdays where sometimes I like wake up at like, cause I wake up at like 4 to 6 every morning. Like if I'm up at 6 o'clock, sometimes I'll just lay in bed and if you ever get a notification, like if you're on the West Coast and you actually got a notification at 4 o'clock in the morning, that's because I'm literally about to leave my house, warm up my car. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, and I just did the. There's been some times where I just need to put the outro and just hit publish and bang. It really depends. Like if you have like it depends on what event you have going on. Like if you go to Akino per se, right? What would happen if I put the whole casino into one huge chapter? Well, you see, Gaza, that happens. But me, I've learned myself that if I'm productive a certain way, and if I could move on to another story, like I know Ross Weiss has been on hold for a little bit because there's this interesting thing that I'm really going into about spying on a guy, see if he's cheating. Same thing with Cocoa. But I'm really just trying to finish these stories that have been around a little bit. And like Sona, I need to finish up. Nico Pyre, I'll be having around. And just to go for flow and to have productivity, I go really around 1,000. I've learned that the flow is what counts better, and it's actually been making me better as a writer. Feelings between main characters, it depends on the flow or not, because I mean, there's really some, like it depends. If it's a harem protagonist and one of the girls, I don't care. Now, what are they gonna do together? That's something else. There's been a lot, and I hate to say it, but especially in superhero movies, lacking plot. Plot goes first. If I had to say there's steps in writing, it's let's just go bottom to top. Idea, characters, development, plot, more plot, touching up. And by touching up as in grammar, punctuation. If you script format, I'm not a fan of it, but I don't hate on it. And there's certain I don't stress about this enough, but tell you what, I actually got something here I want to show you guys. Now, I've actually looked at this. Yes, I think about that daily actually, Naz. I actually have been backing up some drives to this laptop as well. But let's take a look. This is the last chapter of My Pawn. I gotta turn the camera around for a second. Come on. Now, ignore the blue lines and everything else. I know that's not exactly the best. But if you take a look at this, right? Now, this is one person talking, another person talking, another person talking. Now, there's times where a lot of these are bundled up into one paragraph. This is the one thing that I cannot stress enough about, because the real reason why I actually space these is because it makes it look cleaner. It gives it a cleaner look. Alright, take it easy, Matthias. So what ends up really happening here is the reason why I actually space these out is because it's easier to read, and it's because another person is in a different mode. Let's see. I forgot even who's doing this right here. But if you think about it, if one person is speaking, leave that as one paragraph. Another one, different paragraph. Even if it's just one or two lines. And I always do thoughts in italics. Just so it gives it a different point of view. Now, there's definitely some people I know that have put 4 people having a conversation with one paragraph, and that's where it gets messy. With time, let's see, a college professor taught me a couple of things. For instance, there's the 20 rule. Any number 20, it's 20. Anything 20 and older, you could put numerals. 19 to 0, you write it out. That was actually one thing he's actually told me, and it's actually it actually does make sense. Because what happens if there's an actual 2 or an actual 4 next to the word 2 or 4? Not clean. It looks awkward. Makes you look like you wrote the same thing twice. I think that's really one of the reasons. Well, like I said, Naz, I personally think that if you space it out better, it's just easier to read because there's sometimes, especially if you're on your phone, you see like the little font. I honestly think it just makes it hard, makes it a little difficult. But that's just personal preference per se to me. Everyone is different. This is just what I think works better. And especially if I need to edit out later, it's a breeze. An absolute breeze. Alright, guys, anything else? Brian, anything else since you just got in here momentarily ago? You're welcome, Juan, always. Anyone else? Going once, going twice? Give it a minute. Give it another minute. I'll let you guys type, think, everything else, breathe. That's a tough one, but I'm going Nashi one. Now, Mizre's a great character, but I'm definitely going Nashi. Her mindset, her skill set, her priorities, her state of mind. I just kind of want to know how she would be like if she was in like a cuddly mood, like as I'm not flirty, I'm not, this. Just want to be loving, not flirty. Yeah. Hmm. Like I said, it depends on how it goes. Everyone is gonna have their own style, and that's a good thing. As long as the style's readable and clean, it doesn't really matter. Everyone's gonna be different to a point. Anything else, guys? Hmm. Honestly, it's pretty funny because I've never really been big into. I was never really big into either girl. I mean, I kind of did Reen. There was a competition between me and Tina, which he's been back to work 6 days a week, and he's been mostly sleeping. But I'm gonna go Reen, and I'm definitely going Ichika. At least Ichika's not, overly perverted. I mean, he's perverted like the average guy to a point. He tries not to be as best as he can. I think all the girls are great to a point. I mean, Char's great. I mean, I don't mind Issei, but he does have flaws. That's how I'm going with it. I'm not part of the anti-Issei cult. Issei's ignorant, Ichika's dense. That's my that's my twist on that. But that's just my first take of it. Nothing too much. But then it's like, Reen's kind of like, oh yeah, Ichika, do you remember our promise we made as little kids? You'd cook for me? Uh, hmm. Iramoka or Sona? I'm going Iramoka, and there's one thing I've noticed about Iramoka that I haven't seen about Sona. I know Iramoka knows how to flirt. Sona, I'm unsure how that will go. Because I remember there's this big scene. Let's see, I own every Rosario. Let's see. Oh, here's actually. This is what I'm reading at the moment. I got the whole box set. It's the part where she goes what was it? She got pissed because Skune was on top for one, and then it goes, if you're gonna seduce her, you're gonna have to seduce me too. And he goes, oh great, I have no chance. And Kuremu and Mizuri are just delighted because they know that he's got a cold day in hell. Ah, damn, hard one. Um, huh. I'm going Outer Mocha simply because, well, Outer Mocha is less insecure about herself, and there's certain things about Asya that are very nice, but there's certain things that she does need help with, and I don't think she would have them. Like you say or hate him, you'd never have Asya be the way she is without him. Because think about it, she's more confident about her body. She feels free to love. She feels like she has more purpose. Asya is really an underrated character, and I don't think she's appreciated enough. Personally. Go ahead and make the argument if you want, but I think that she's not as appreciated enough. Kurami, not Kuramu, right? Because I do not like Kurami as much as there's three girls I think that are overrated in anime. Kurami, um, you know, what was the other one? Ah, Toka from Tokyo Ghoul. And no, there are some stories I will not be doing. I will not be doing Tokyo Ghoul or Attack on Titan. I respect them. It's just not my cup of tea. Uh, okay, let's see. I'm going Origami simply because of the time that's going on there. And, well, I actually do got an important, oh, please don't kill me for this. That is actually my call waiting. So, guys, I'm going to be wrapping this up. I'm going to be talking to you guys during the weekend. Please have a good weekend. If you guys missed anything for tips wise and everything else, I do recommend you all going back. And if there's any more questions, I will get to you tonight or tomorrow. I'm just going to be packing it in slowly for tonight. Probably within a half hour, I'll be in bed, not off. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. If you've learned something, I've done my job. Love you all. Take it easy. Oh, hey, Twist. Missed you from the last cast. I'm gonna be subscribing to all of you guys, by the way. So, till then, take care. I'll probably see you. Actually, I might do one of these tomorrow. I don't know. I'm just taking on my Wattpad. I do my notifications there if I'm going live or not. And till then, see ya. Love you all. Bye bye. Have a good night.